Listen to Sergio Sanchez every morning on News Talk 710 KURV and on the Radio Parami app. Stay informed with exclusive interviews from top local and state leaders, plus economic development news, business, and medical reports, and all the local news from the RGV. It's everything you need to know to start your day right. Sergio Sanchez and News Talk 710 KURV on the free Radio Parami app. Download it now.
Not everyone who handles your personal information is as careful as you are, which might explain why there's a victim of identity theft every 5 seconds in the United States. Fortunately, there's LifeLock. LifeLock will monitor hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats to your identity. And if your identity is stolen, a U.S.-based restoration specialist will fix it guaranteed or your money back. Save 40% your first year with my name, Clay, as your promo code at LifeLock.com. LifeLock. For the threats you can't control, terms apply.
Why'd I go to the doctor? One day at the firehouse, I was so lightheaded I could barely stand. Even my crew noticed. Getting checked out was the right call. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit NoTimeToWait.com, sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Their homes and businesses destroyed by tornadoes in southeastern Wisconsin. Bridget Kuehl hid in her basement in Mayville.
You felt like you were like in a funnel cloud. And I'm like, oh crap. You know, my husband's like, what? And I'm like, I literally feel like the house is like almost lifted up off the ground.
260,000 homes and businesses are without power in Michigan due to storms. The man accused of killing 4 University of Idaho students was back in court for a final pretrial hearing.
After numerous hearings and motions filed, Brian Kohberger's trial in the killings of 4 University of Idaho students is set, with the prosecution and defense being made clear on evidence, witnesses, and jury instructions. Judge Stephen Hippler also saying if Kohberger is found guilty of murder, that the penalty phase will begin immediately.
It's either life without parole or death.
Kohberger has pled not guilty in the deadly knife attacks of Madison Mogen, Kaylee Goncalves, Ethan Chapin, and Zaina Kernodle in an off-campus house in Moscow in 2022. His trial, that's expected to last months, begins in August. Jeff Manasso, Fox News.
Utah Supreme Court orders a new trial for a man on death row.
The court ruling that numerous constitutional violations surround the conviction of 69-year-old Douglas Stewart Carter, found guilty in 1985 of murdering the aunt of a former Utah police chief. No physical evidence linked him to the crime scene, but Carter, who is black, wrote a confession. And 2 witnesses testified he bragged about killing the white woman. Carter, who will remain in prison pending his retrial, claims his confession was coerced. Gary Baumgarten, Fox News.
Sports, Denver beats Oklahoma to force a deciding Game 7 in their NBA Western Conference semifinal series. Carolina advances to the NHL Eastern Conference Final, beating Washington 3-1 in Game 5. Jonathan Vegas is a 2-stroke lead after round 1 of the PGA Championship. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News.
News Talk 710 KURV, broadcasting from the Valley's All-American Truck Headquarters studio at PayneAutomall.com.
It's another finally Friday edition of the Valley's Morning News, News Talk 710 KURV. It's News Radio for South Texas. Again, we remind you, join us at Radio Parami. That's the free app. Listen to 710 KURV, along with show producer Fred Cruz, AccuWeather meteorologist Jeffrey Nordine. He's on standby. I'm Sergio Sanchez. Appreciate you being with us. So the Federal Aviation Administration has announced that, yes, thumbs up, they have approved a SpaceX plan to launch up to 25 missions a year from Starbase. The FAA also approved some modifications that were planned for the next Starship launch. The FAA, though, saying that it will not allow a mission until a mishap report from the 8th test launch is completed. Elon Musk has taken to social media saying that there might be a launch at Starbase sometime next week. Up to Austin, Texas has spent more than $11 billion at the border. The Texas government, as Governor Greg Abbott announced his own enforcement on the border during the Biden administration. Now we hear that one of our Texas senators says we might get that money back.
Senator John Cornyn wants to attach reimbursement to the federal budget bill.
Of course, this is a very big bill, a big, beautiful bill, as President Trump calls it.
He says he's working with Ted Cruz in the Senate and the Texas delegation in the House.
When we talked to the president and the speaker in particular, they requested that we wait until this point in the process.
But he says they've both been working with him and support reimbursement.
That's Alan Skaya reporting. Now, Michael Board, on the end of the Texas legislative session that's around the corner, and we still don't know the fate of the Texas lottery.
There is a last-ditch effort to save the lottery. A bill would get rid of the Lottery Commission, which State Senator Bob Hall says was caught helping criminals rig the drawings.
They directed contractors to send dozens of lottery machines to retailers without asking any questions.
Lotto Texas would instead be moved under the Texas Commission of Licensing and Regulation. His bill would also cap the number of lottery tickets that can be bought in a single transaction. But even that is not enough for some. San Antonio's Congressman Chip Roy wants the lottery to be abolished.
Other news from Austin, a bill requiring Texas prisons be air-conditioned by the end of 2032 has won preliminary approval in the State House. Once the bill gets the final approval in the House, going to be heard over in the Senate. And where do you set your temp on the AC, the thermostat? Well, according to some energy experts, they say the best temperature to keep the thermostat this summer would be what, Fred Cruz? He's 78. Freddie sets it at 78 at his house. Aren't you like sweating all night long at 78? Dude, it's got to be like at least 70 to relax. Well, yes. Get a San Marcos blanket. Just cover up yourself.
Man, you're freezing at 70, man. You're getting like a meat locker.
Yeah. Well, it's not like I said it like at 68 at night or 67, but
well, why might as well.
So 78 degrees. If you're sitting it there, yeah, thumbs up to you. That's the optimum energy setting. Time is 7:08 on News Talk 710 KURV. I want to say thank you to Dougie and all the gang at Martin Farm and Ranch. Yeah, it's going to be a scorcher, already is. So your cattle need Purina liquid feed, and you will find that at Martin Farm and Ranch, a certified dealer for Purina liquid feed. Say hi to Dougie if you stop by. Thank you, weather meteorologist Jeffrey Nordine joining us. So we'll take the debate to him since the weather's not changing much. We know it's going to be triple digits around here. Where do you set the thermostat, Jeffy?
My dad sets it, and I can't touch it. Remember, dad's thermostat. He knows when you play with it.
Yeah.
We have it at 74 to 72 on average.
All right. Say again, Freddie? Yeah. See, Jeffy, again, if you don't know this, the AccuWeather office for Jeff, when he says his dad, is because he's at mom and dad's house. He's in the basement at mom's house. So yeah, there you go. Just another millennial living back home. He's working from home for AccuWeather and sending us the AccuWeather forecast, so he can't touch the thermostat. It has to be at
nope. And even when I was on my own, when I live on my own, it's between 70 to 72. So I'm right around where you are at, Sergio. The 70 is good. Fred, meat locker, yes, put me in it by all means.
Is it because you're more comfortable at night? You get some blankets and
that and just I don't when I come home, and especially if you're in a triple digit territory like you are, like I want to come home and I want to be like, this is nice, not hot. Like I'm not joining your house. I'm not going to your house.
No, you guys should go because you actually have to have blankets in the living room. We're watching TV. You got to have a blanket at 78 degrees.
Yeah,
because we got good insulation.
No, yeah, that's got good insulation. Like, I don't know, man. I think Fred has so much insulation. I'd be itching with all the fiberglass coming down at me from the ceiling. Okay, triple digits for us today, this weekend, and how deep into next week would you say?
Well, actually, next week's not bad. So we're going to see temperatures kind of regulate a little bit. We'll be looking by mid to late week, mid to upper 90s, and even some spots could see the upper 80s too. The next heat wave, or the big one, is coming up Monday, Tuesday, where we get triple digits in McAllen. So, yeah, the heat's on the way. Quick Texas travel. Dallas is going to be a little stormy tomorrow and Sunday. There could be some severe weather, large hail, damaging winds, and heavy rainfall. Houston area and San Antonio will be, quote-unquote, spared.
All right. quite the extensive menu today, but there's one item that's catching my eye. It's National Barbecue Day. Well, that could start a whole new series of conversations. And all wash it down with some mimosas. It's National Mimosa Day today.
Stop. Yep.
Yeah, barbecue and mimosas. That sounds like a pretty good combination.
It kind of does.
Yeah. All right, pal. I'll call you next hour. AccuWeather meteorologist Jeffrey Nordine. Yeah, temperatures upper 70s right now, low 80s across South Texas. 102 in the Western Valley, says AccuWeather. The time is 7:12 on News Talk 710 KURV. And more news out of Austin. And Governor Greg Abbott not waiting for the state legislature to pass a bill to try to block folks in Texas using food stamps, the SNAP benefits, from buying junk food.
Governor Abbott sent a letter to U.S. Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins asking for a waiver to prohibit Texans from purchasing, quote, unhealthy, highly processed food using Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program benefits, or SNAP. At the same time, Senate Bill 379 would do the exact same thing, and it's just one State House vote away from being sent to his desk. State Senator Mays Middleton authored it.
It removes junk food from the SNAP program. And as we know, taxpayer-funded junk food turns into taxpayer-funded health care.
It appears the governor fears time might be running out on his bill.
In Austin, Chris Fox, News Talk 710 KURV.
And a watcher on the border, Texas border, saying that, all this talk about UFOs, it's all fun, but there's actually a reason that people are reporting more UFOs on the border. The reason might be a bit more sinister.
Ron Vitello says the Mexican drug cartels operate huge business empires with unlimited funds. The former Laredo Border Patrol chief and senior advisor to U.S. Customs this week said on News Nation Prime, the cartels probably have cutting-edge drone technologies that U.S. law enforcement just doesn't understand.
This is what they do. That's part of their business model, to always be able to iterate and innovate so that they can continue to sell their poison into the United States.
Vitello says cartels are enormously powerful, reinvesting their illicit profits into sophisticated operations to guarantee their continued trade in drugs, weapons, and human trafficking, regardless of federal law enforcement efforts.
That's a report from Bill McLean. Cox Communications and Charter Communications, two of the largest cable companies in the country, are set to merge. The popular video game Fortnite is currently unavailable on Apple products on the iOS platform. The home where Malcolm X changed his name from Malcolm Little to Malcolm X after he discovered his Muslim faith will open to the public in Michigan this weekend. And today is a day that is also National Malcolm X Day. Time is 7:14. The Valley's Morning News on News Talk 710 KURV. Join us at 710 KURV-X Live, the Facebook Live, YouTube Live as well. You will notice a friend and a pillar in our community, Stephen Winger. He's the boss over myrgv.com. That's our paper of record for South Texas. Yeah, everybody get used to doing it online now. It's the McAllen Monitor, Valley Morning Star, the Herald, myrgv.com. Yeah, they were in the news a few days back, selling a big building here on Nolana in McAllen. We'll talk about that. We'll do some shop talk as well. That's next on the Valley's Morning News.
Active Liver is the easy way to get daily detox to keep you healthy and feeling your best. Find Active Liver at your local CVS or online at Amazon or newnordicusa.com.
You can actually do well while doing good. Texans help Texans. People here care more about what you can do than who you are. Hello, my name is Jim Springfield, president of Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Texas. What's so unique about Texas? Texas is an independently spirited state. Dallas is very different than Houston, which is very different than San Antonio, which is very different than the Panhandle. That gives Blue Cross the ability to provide unique services for the unique needs of Texans. And I think that having that understanding and letting that feed into not just the products and services we offer, but the manner in which we offer them, it's culturally appropriate. So that diversity of thought, that diversity of culture, that independent spirit is just unrivaled. You can have the assurance that we're going to continue to be progressive when it comes to meeting yours and your family's health needs.
Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Texas, a division of Healthcare Service Corporation, a mutual legal reserve company.
Brian Kilmeade here. After my show, weekday afternoons at 2, stay tuned for the 956 Drive Home with Zach and Davis starting at 4 on News Talk 710 KURV and KURV.com.
Hoping the Astros bats wake up. Chihuahuas, they fell asleep last night. They lost 1-0 to the Rangers, of all teams to be embarrassed by. Astros baseball tonight, 6:35 pregame on 710 KURV. Big thank you to Dr. T's Primary Care for Men and Women and the Mission Economic Development Office in the house. If you join us on X Live, Facebook, YouTube Live, 710 KURV, 7 o'clock hour, we're getting accustomed to doing this. You notice, you guys who pay attention to the community, Stephen Wingard. Publisher is the title, right, Stephen?
That's right.
He's the boss man over at our paper of record for the RGV. Papers of record used to be the Monitor, of course, Valley Morning Star, and the Brownsville Herald, but it's all rolled up into one. Everybody do the online thing, myrgv.com. And a few days back, they were in the news because that big, beautiful building on Nolana, to be sold to UTRGV.
That's right.
What's inside all that, all those big printer machines and all that stuff?
So
right?
that building, a lot of people don't know this. I that was my project, right? I started at the Monitor in 1987.
Wow.
And throughout the years, we were at 1101 Ash Avenue, which was downtown, right? And we decided in around 2000 that we needed to move, and that was my project to design and build and buy new presses and everything that goes with a newspaper. And we moved in there in 2004.
You were publisher back in 1987?
I was not publisher. I was then the general manager. So I was the guy that did all the work, right? You know, like, hey, we got to get a building, go figure it out, right?
Man, you do not show your age. Dude, 1987, I was graduating from high school.
No, that's when right out of high school. I jumped in.
You jumped, so you and I graduated at the same time?
Yeah, and I jumped right into and I went to college and stuff, but it was part-time, and then I did all kinds of jobs there.
Amazing. Okay.
Yeah.
So what happens then with all, because
it's
all papers are still printed there,
yes,
right?
Yes, and when you say used to be the Monitor, we still have the Monitor. We still have the Valley Morning Star and the Brownsville Herald. In fact, we own, as of a couple of years ago, the Raymondville Chronicle, right? So we still like our print newspapers, and the online presence is myrgv.com, and that's where, like you said, everything rolls up into there, and you can go to one spot, and obviously the readers of news. I mean, I'm live on Facebook, right? The readers of news are interested in the digital side more so than those traditional methods. So we serve our old readers in print, older and people who still like to hold the paper. And then we have our online presence, and we are in all the socials. We do everything that a local news station would do now. But what's happened over the years is that building is huge. I don't know if you've been in there, but you go in there and it's just
of times, and
it's enormous. And back when we moved into it, that made a lot of sense for us, right? In fact, at the time they were telling me, I think you should have built it larger, right? There was a lot of people that thought
which was in 2005, I think.
Yeah, 2004 in January we moved in, and they said, oh my gosh, you made it too small, right? And over the years, and this was my response to them back then. I said, look, as the years go by, our reporters are going to be working out of their car with their cell phones and their hotspots, and they won't have to be in here all the time. And those kind of things has changed our business a great deal. COVID was a major operational change in how we worked. We all worked, we were essential, but many people worked from home or worked on their own. And now I look at that building, and we could probably put everybody in half of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so we're still spread out. So when you walk in, it really looks empty, right? But if you put them all in one spot, we could probably be in about half of it. So as far as the office space goes, it's just too much building for us. We're paying the taxes on a big building.
Yes.
And if you look at newspapers across the country, it's a trend, right? Last time when you said, oh my gosh, you're cutting down on your print days, I said, well, we're kind of behind on that, right? Other people have already done that. And I think I'm real proud of those 2 days a week and the papers that we put out there. They're big again. They look nice, as opposed to the 7 days. I think that's going well for us. But I think when people say you're selling the building, well, San Antonio moved out of their building years ago, right? Dallas is making some major changes. I talked to a guy yesterday. He used to work at the Miami Herald. He walked into the Monitor building, And the first thing he said is, "Wow, you must be one of the last papers that still has a big building." I said, "Oh, you didn't see last Saturday's paper, right? We're looking."
Yeah.
So we're going to right size our office space. I think it'd be better for morale. Everybody be closer together, working closer together, and I think it's a nice cost savings for us, right? We have to heat and cool that big building.
Yeah, 10-4.
You know?
Stephen Winkert, publisher for the paper of record for the RGV. Get used to looking at it online because everything's done online. MyRGV.com is our local papers, McAllen Monitor, Valley Morning Star, and the Brownsville Herald. What's going to happen with that building now? How will the university be using it? Do you know? Will it be the podiatry program, the optometry program, or
the only thing I know is, we're owned by AIM Media Texas, which was a company formed to buy us, right? It includes the paper in Odessa, right? The Odessa American.
Okay.
And they've been the ones that have been speaking with UTRGV. I know UTRGV. I talked to them a little bit, but what happened last week that was really important was UTRGV needed permission from the regents, right, to pursue the building. So as of my last conversation with them a couple of days ago with my ownership, we didn't have a contract yet, right? So that's the first step, right? But before they could really pursue and purchase the building, the regents had to give them permission, right? So we have a little bit of a runway here. This isn't going to happen in 30 days. You have to move. It could be several months that we're setting that building. So when I looked at the agenda item to see what they had asked the regents to do, all it said was something to the effect. I'm not going to be exactly right, but it was something to the effect of they wanted to purchase the building to continue the mission of UTRGV Health, or the medical school. Okay. So it sounds like they're going to use it for something medical related. They talked about warehouse space maybe that they might need. We have a lot of space in our production facility, and so I assume it's going to be something cool. And what I'm excited about is that building was built to inform the public, right? That's what we built it for. That tower up there is supposed to be the watchful eye on the community. And if UTRGV gets it, if that everything works out, I think it probably will. They're going to be informing the community. It's the same mission, right?
Stephen Winkert is publisher for the paper record for the Valley. You'll find all our papers at myrgv.com. Again, the big building at Nolana, it's in the process of being sold over to UTRGV. Probably something with their medical branch, optometry school, something like that. They'll probably put that in there as well. What I find fascinating is all those big machines, the press machines. Boy, those puppies are going to be hard to move, and
they are.
Where do you move them? Where are you going?
So here's the deal. When newspapers do what we do, they typically will just say, okay, well, we're going to outsource our printing, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that that's out of the question, but right now my concern is, and my plans are to move that press, right? And if I can, and so the press, if you've ever seen it, is 3 stories tall, right? And that's a problem, looking for a place to move it, right? But I think I can shorten it. That press was built for printing papers in a method that we don't use anymore. So I think I can shorten it, the height, and I think I can shorten the length of it, and still have one of the best presses in Texas.
Yeah.
And then it will be easier to move.
Do you outsource work to other local little newspapers and marketing firms that do print jobs and stuff?
We have a newspaper press, right? Okay. And we have something called the Ditty Press. It's a much smaller press. So we print a whole bunch of the guys in town, right? You look at almost any newspaper title that we don't own, we're printing them, right? So we have a lot of thought and energy put into what we do next. And if they had said no, and if the regents had said no, we probably wouldn't be having the conversation, right? But because they said yes, now we got to turn up the heat on the processes and the plans to move. I'm working on those today. They're not I have an idea, right? I've been talking to people about it, but my staff always says, "Hey, where are we moving to?" Well, I haven't figured that out yet either. What's fun was when the news broke my phone blew up, right? Hey, I got some space, right? Hey, I got some space. My preference is.
Oh, really? So
yeah.
commercial real estate people say, "Hey, Steve, come over here."
Yeah, hey, I got a place.
Yeah.
And the so I prefer to keep the offices in McAllen, right? Because we've been in McAllen since 1909, and I think I know of 4 places. I don't know the exact addresses, but I know that the Monitor has moved at least 4 times since it was started. Started downtown, moved a couple places. The printing facilities is another story. That could be a lot. That could be a lot of places. I'm looking for 30,000 square feet of high ceiling.
Do you think A Media might be purchasing in order to own instead of leasing over? Because we face the same situation. We went from leasing to actually. Well, I say we. I don't own the company, but the owner said they went from leasing to purchasing a site, and we're here at the old Benson family building.
No, it's a great building. In fact, I was looking around to see if you had any space.
So you're welcome to join us. We got a big grassy patch over here.
Okay.
We can build something. You can join us next door.
But I think we're leasing. I mean, I think that's what we're going to do. I think that's an easier, more flexible way for us.
Which begs the question. I don't mean to interrupt you. Stephen Winkert is our publisher for our papers of record for the Valley, the Monitor, Valley Morning Star, and the Herald. MyRGV.com. That's where you need to get used to getting your local news from our local papers. Do you see the day where those print machines will be obsolete? Well, you won't be printing anymore because right now you're doing what? Two a week, 3 a week? What are you doing right?
2 a week.
2 a week.
We have
Come up to the microphone, brother. Come.
Yeah, I'm doing 2 a week. Plus, we have a 50,000 run for MyRGV Extra, which is I always call it the printed version of MyRGV, right? And yeah, there'll be a day, but I don't think it's going to be anytime soon. I'm not so sure I will be there, right? When we stop printing, right? Just because I think there's always going to be a need for that. I've done a little research. Surprisingly, Gen Z, it's my favorite generation. They are starting to figure out that they're spend too much time on their phones, right? That they need and there's a little bit bubbling up a resurgence of print in the form of magazines. There's a Gen Zer out there telling people, get off your phones and look at newspapers.
Hey, right? Man, if vinyl came back in records, why not get a little bit of that?
So there's a place for it, I think.
Okay.
And I don't think it's going to come back to the way it used to be, but I think there may be a time when, hey, stopping by the coffee shop and grabbing a paper, maybe it's not paid for anymore, but grabbing a paper and reading it is a break from the technology that rules our life today.
The market, with all the pressures that we have to put up with, it's an amazing time that we live in. Of course, we're doing on platforms live right now. You and I, you're doing platforms online as well. Let's do a little bit of shop talk and maybe forecasting. I was going to say 10 years. No, that's too soon. 20 years from now. 20 years from now, if you just take your mind there.
Okay.
Local media, which means local TV, the kids at 5, 4, 23, the paper, us, radio, which is apparently the only radio outfit around here. What will it be? What might it look like? Will we still be here? Local, somebody's got to report locally.
Yeah.
So might it be a fusion of everybody going into one company, or what happens?
I don't know. I think we're all going to be here, right? I think we're all going to be here. You provide. I like your show. I like KURV. I listen to it. And I think it's going to be about the content, right? And the news and the local news, nobody's going to cover the Rio Grande Valley like our local media, right? And the Rio Grande Valley is going crazy, right? You think about what our position here in the Valley will be in 20 years. It's going to take a robust news community to inform the public about all the things that are going on. I think people are still interested in what's going on in their local communities. And I think how we do it is going to be different. It's going to be whatever the latest. Is it going to be Google goggles or I don't know.
Imagine?
But whatever it is, we're going to be there, right? And what drives us is our ethical guidelines. That's what I tell people. Anybody can get on Facebook and say, "Oh my gosh, there's a new building coming up, or there's something going on."
Yeah.
But we journalists have a different approach to how we cover this stuff, right? And so I think the goal is going to be to work to gain the trust of local communities in our news gathering. And then we'll be on whatever platform that the readers want us on. That's kind of what we're already doing.
We have so many, they call them citizen journalists, people posting online, folks that do a little extra work and gumshoe work to get information out there. But in the end, the information has to be conserved confirmed. Information needs to be confirmed, and the public record needs to be communicated properly in the end, so that try to tamp down on.
I'm not saying the citizen journalists are wrong, but sometimes they'll report stuff that we won't because we can't confirm it.
That's true. Right. That's the big difference. It has to be confirmed, and it has to be public record for you to be able to ethically and legally. That's another thing. Legally report. That's another thing that the citizens journalists don't have to worry about. Thanks for stopping by, Stephen. We wish you continued success.
I like coming here. The last thing I'll say is this change really doesn't affect our readers, right? It's going to allow us to save a little money and reinvest.
Excellent.
So,
well, keep us posted, brother.
Have fun.
We'll see where you guys wind up. That's Stephen Wingert. He's the publisher for our papers of record for the RGV, McAllen Monitor, Valley Morning Star, and the Brownsville Herald. Again, folks, go find our local newspapers at myrgv.com. This is the Valley's Morning News on News Talk 710 KURV. Join us for Astros baseball tonight, 6:35 pregame from Dallas.
Spotlight on Your Health, brought to you by DHR Health.
From the DHR Health Heart Institute, board-certified, fellowship-trained, cardiothoracic surgeon, Dr. Victor Reese.
It's a pleasure to be at DHR Health, and it's a pleasure to be back in the Valley. I grew up in Brownsville, Texas. My dad, he was a primary practice physician in Brownsville for over 30 years. And it was always interesting running into my dad's patients in the community. They would stop me and say, "Hey, we love your dad. He helped save my loved one's life," the impact that my father had on his community. And I certainly wanted to be able to impact the community in a similar fashion. Ultimately, I chose to pursue a fellowship in cardiothoracic surgery. So a cardiothoracic surgery fellowship teaches you about the surgical treatment of disease in both the heart, the lung, and an area in the middle of the chest. You learn to do complex operations on the heart, replace heart valves, and even replace major parts of the arteries of the body. In addition, you also do thoracic surgery, and that involves removing tumors in the middle of the chest, lung cancers, esophageal cancer as well. I have an outpatient office. I see patients on a weekly basis. One thing that I learned in medical school is that you have a finite amount of time to interact with patients. However, in cardiothoracic surgery, we're a very low volume specialty, which means I have very few patients and I get to spend a lot of time with them. DHR is a wonderful health system. I was very impressed when I interviewed here. I find that they spend a lot of time listening to the physicians, listening to our needs, and they're constantly trying to push the envelope in terms of providing cutting-edge care for the patients here in the Valley.
From the DHR Health Heart Institute, board-certified, fellowship-trained, cardiothoracic surgeon, Dr. Victor Reese, DHR Health.
This has been Spotlight on Your Health, brought to you by DHR Health. For you, for life.
Did you know Mighty Mike's Plumbing, Electrical, and HVAC also does duct cleaning?
Here, Feathers, guess what?
Tea.
Coffee. You know I don't like tea.
Oh, no. Mighty Mike's offers duct cleaning to make sure your ducts are clean and system running efficiently to save you money. Now is a great time for duct cleaning, so just call 956-686-1353.
Oh, I found callmightymike.com. They do all HVAC services and more.
Except that, but they do duct cleaning. Get your system done. Mighty Mike's to the rescue.
Later tonight, it's a Texas showdown, y'all, as your Houston Astros visit the Texas Rangers. First pitch at 7:05. Powered by Dr. T's Primary Care for Men and Women, Mission Economic Development Corporation, and News Talk 710 KURV.
The 710 KURV Sports Desk is brought to you by Dr. T's Primary Care for Men and Women.
I'm Trevor Beck with your TSN Sports Minute. Rangers and Astros started off a 4-game series last night and the first of 13 games this season for the Silver Boot. And the pitching duel that ensued was ended with a burger bomb.
1-1. Swinging. There's a drive. Well hit ball deep up the alley in right center. This one's got a shot. It's gone! Jake Burger. Opposite field home run. We do have a run. It belongs to Texas. Rangers lead at 1-0.
Rangers get the win 1-0. Game 2 will be tonight at 7:05. And last night's Stars had a fighting chance, but going into the third period, the only fight they got was from their captain, Jamie Benn, who got a stiff left through in the third. Stars got knocked down, though, 4-0, and will be playing Game 6 at home on Saturday. Time still to be announced. I'm Trevor Beck with your TSN Sports Minute.
AccuWeather says highs for today should be in the low 100s. Oh, thank you, Lord. Mercy. 102 for highs today. Yeah, better than 110, like 109, 110. 102 today. Same thing for the weekend. Should be upper 90s, low 100s, and going into next week. Porter Bridge wait times as posted on KURV.com. Again, all this is for traffic headed back to the valley. Go to the website, KURV.com, right-hand margin, and there you go. So headed back to McAllen. Let's see here. Get the latest numbers. Brownsville, McAllen, at the updated McAllen. Hang on, Freddie. Let's see here. Yes, they have. Who has traffic? 45 minutes, Hidalgo Bridge. That's the only one with traffic. Any significant traffic. And for Brownsville, 1 hour at Gateway. Same thing at B&M. Same thing at Veterans. 1 hour at all three. Business news check of your money. That's next on 710 KURV.
Join the Radio United team. We're looking for a marketing consultant to join our dynamic team in the RGV. Are you self-motivated, goal-driven, and ready to help businesses grow? This is your chance to develop and sell advertising and marketing campaigns across multiple platforms, including radio, digital, social media, and more. Requirements include minimum of 3 years of outside sales experience, strong communication, presentation, and negotiation skills, valid driver's license, and reliable transportation. Bilingual is preferred. Must be legally authorized to work in the United States. Send your resume today to humanresources@radiounited.com. Radio United, we're an equal opportunity employer.
It's one of those items on the things to do list to protect your immediate family. Help them out just a little bit. You know, when the Lord says it's time and we got to go home, that's it. Got to punch out. Well, your immediate family left behind to deal with the separation and the pain, and of course, family coming in out of town, and of course, the payment of the funeral event and organizing this, that, and the other. That's a long, long list of things to do. Be done with it now for the sake of your immediate family. Think of them. I call my friend Carla McCaleb, Mark and Carla McCaleb, pillars in our community. Been doing this for 60 plus years now. They're the McCaleb family in Weslaco, loving on South Texas families that, you know, have to deal with a separation. But it's always best if things are prepared as much as possible. So make the decisions now. Make decisions for that long list of all those things that go into that funeral event, things that need to be purchased, events and times and locations, all those things. And then set up the prepayment. I think it's a very loving thing to do, just like my mom and dad did this for me a long time ago. And when the Lord called them home, well, it was nice that, you know, I could focus on my family, my wife and my kids and family coming in out of town. Carla McCaleb, again, they will come to you, Brownsville, McAllen, Harlingen, wherever you are, and have a sit down and put all this thing on paper and put it on the shelf. Carla McCaleb is at 956-650-2841.
Pain management specialist Dr. Dennis Slavin on patients who've had back surgery but are still in pain.
Many patients I see who have undergone back surgery complain that the ugly pain radiating down their thigh and leg is still present. What's worse, they're told there's nothing else that can be done and are stuck to a life of limited physical activity and reliance on pain medication. I may have the answer for you: spinal cord stimulation. I have a treatment specific for this radiating discomfort called neuropathic pain. This treatment has been around since the 1960s, but with recent computer modeling technique, delivery of precise electrical signals can replace that pain with a massaging sensation that translates to less pain, less reliance on pain meds, and return to an active life. This technology is cutting edge and lives in a comfortable room at my office. Patients are amazed by the pain relief. They wonder why they waited so long to be feeling better at last.
Learn more about feeling better at last by signing on to feelingbetteratLast.com or call Dr. Slavin 973-0565.
Audio streaming on KURV.com. Powered by South Texas Buick GMC, McAllen Mission.
I'm Nicole Murray with Your Money Now. Elon Musk's xAI said an unauthorized modification to its Grok chatbot led to unprompted responses about white genocide in South Africa. Numerous X users posted screenshots of Grok offering replies on the topic despite being asked unrelated questions. xAI said they are conducting a thorough investigation. Cerebra CEO Andrew Feldman said his hope is that the AI chipmaker goes public in 2025 after a delay last year. Feldman revealed the news while speaking to reporters at a company event in San Francisco. Former Walmart CEO Bill Simon said the retailer's business is strong enough to withstand tariff headwinds without increasing its prices. Simon, who ran Walmart from 2010 to 2014, suggests that the company may be overstating challenges tied to the tariffs. Futures are slightly higher. Thursday, the Dow Industrials gained 271. The Nasdaq down 34. The S&P 500 up 24. That's your money now.
AccuWeather says highs should be up to 102 in the Western Valley, upper 90s, low 100s for everyone else. Take that into the weekend all the way to Monday. You're in tune with the Valley's Morning News. This is News Talk 710 KURV. Hey, look at that. It's Friday and it's Mom. Movie Mom Nell Minow in about 4 minutes on the Valley's Morning News. Kubota Orange Days at Amigo Power Equipment in Edinburgh. Stop by and see JP and Jeff today and enjoy big savings on the Kubota equipment that you need. And more importantly, the gang at Amigo Power Equipment, JP, Jeff, and the crew, factory-trained, Kubota factory-trained pros. So that means they can help you connect whatever project you have. Let's say you got to put a whole bunch of fence out there. You got some things you need to chop up and trim, things like that. Yeah, JP and Jeff at Amigo Power and their know-how on all things Kubota, factory-trained experts for Kubota. Going to match up the specific equipment and the attachments to all that work that you need to do. Plus, with Kubota Orange Days at Amigo Power Equipment, you got an opportunity for amazing financing and savings right now. Amigo Power Equipment is where you will find the Kubota equipment that you need. Go online for Kubota or for the Amigo Power website. Don't miss the chance to save big and get great financing on the Kubota equipment that you need at Amigo Power Equipment in Edinburgh on Monte Cristo.
Hi there, my name is Tony Bolstead. My wife and I, Carol, own Sand Monsters. We'd like you to come on out and have fun. We've got a half-mile long track out here. It runs across about 3.5 acres. Have adult cars and kid cars, getting laps in, learning how to drive on the sand. And we also lease space to Redline Helicopters is one of our tenants here, and they've got a pad and they do helicopter tours. Lone Star National Bank and the team there really helped us get this thing put together, answered all our questions, huge help.
I am Stephanie Harrison. I am the second generation owner of Sisters Interiors on South Padre Island. We had always dreamed of owning our own land and owning our own building, using our design team to create what you see here today. That's how we got involved with Lone Star National Bank. We partnered with them and they helped us, create the dream.
At Rivetta's Machinery in Donna, they're bringing the best deals on Coyote equipment to your job site, your farm, or your backyard. Right now, take advantage of 0% interest or up to $6,000 cash back on Coyote track loaders and skid steers. These are machines built for maximum performance no matter the task. But don't stop there. They're also offering fantastic savings on Coyote tractors, zero-turn mowers, and utility vehicles. And whether you're hauling something, mowing, tackling other big jobs, Coyote has the equipment to help you get it done. If you're looking for great deals and great service from a team that treats you like family, look no further than Rivetta's Machinery and Coyote. Start your next project right. Visit Rivetta's Machinery in Donna or browse their deals when it suits you at mynewtractor.com. That's their website, mynewtractor.com. Rivetta's for the long haul. See dealer for full details.
News Talk 710 KURV. News and weather information at your fingertips.
There was only one place to get the information I needed.
Log on to KURV.com.
Happy Friday. Welcome to the Valley's Morning News for May 16th, 2025. I'm Sergio Sanchez, along with absolutely the best news, talk radio producer in all of Texas, because I know Texas talk radio. Yes, producer Fred Cruz. We got AccuWeather meteorologist Jeffrey Nordine. He's on standby. And hey, it's Mom. It's Friday. Movie Mom Nell Minow coming up in about 90 seconds. Stick around. News on 710 KURV. A service of Jay Gonzalez Injury Attorneys, ready to fight for you. Call 1-800-CAR-CRASH.
Fox News, I'm CJ. Papa wheels up for President Trump on his way back from his trip to the Middle East and on board Air Force One.
The president is confirming that the U.S. has given Iran a proposal for a nuclear deal. Here's the quote from the president. He said, They have a proposal speaking about Iran, but more importantly, they know they have to move quickly or something bad is going to happen.
Fox's Lucas Tomlinson in Abu Dhabi. Talks have been held in Oman and Rome. Well, speaking of reporters, the president also said he didn't talk to ally Israel about the decision to recognize Syria's new government, despite deep Israeli suspicion of the new Syrian leader.
We want Syria to succeed. It's been a mess for 10 years and much longer than that.
Tuesday, the president said he would lift sanctions on Syria. America's listening to Fox News.
Back to the legislative session real quick in Austin. We're getting the first look at the Texas Senate version of the $8 billion set aside for education in Texas. The House plan, the Texas House plan, increases the basic allotment to schools $400 per student. The Senate version, only $55, with the rest of the money going to teacher pay raises. And the Federal Aviation Administration giving thumbs up to SpaceX, doing up to 25 launches from Boca Chica a year. You know what that music means? You listen long enough to KURV. The Valley's Morning News every Friday. We got movie mom, Nell Minow, joining us. That's her song. Entertainment Tonight. Here comes Mom again. She went to the movie theater to see something. Actually, there's not much to see at the movie theater right now. Right, Mom? Nothing new.
That's right. If you haven't seen Thunderbolt, maybe go see that. But this week this is the first time I can remember this happening. The two big movies opening up this week are so bad that they did not show them to critics. Now, obviously, I'm not going to go to see Final Destination no matter what.
Uh-huh.
But I was interested to see this movie starring The Weeknd. I like him. And it's about a pop star who has a fan who's either very dedicated or maybe deranged. And since she's played by Jenna Ortega, who's Wednesday and generally plays deranged people, I'm guessing that's where it goes. But they didn't show it for critics, so forget about it. So what we're going to do, even though it's not opening till next week, I have seen the new Mission Impossible. And if you all promise you won't tell anybody, I'm going to tell you what happened, okay?
Let me hang on a second. We got two people on Facebook Live. Nobody's listening. Just tell me everything.
Okay, great.
Hold on.
It's really good. It's really long. It's not quite as good as the last one. I'm still trying to get over that scene on the train with the piano crashing down on them. But there are two amazing action sequences in this one. One in a sunken Russian submarine that sunk in 2012. And he's got to go down there, and they spend like 15 minutes explaining that his lungs are going to explode if he doesn't wear the special suit. And he gets down there, he has to take off the special suit. Whoa. Yeah, he spends a lot of time fighting in his underpants in this one, which is, fine with me. And so that the Russian submarine scene is very good. But the one that really knocked my socks off was the two airplanes, a little bit of Top Gun in there again, two biplanes fighting with each other. And he's falling out of one and then climbing back in and falling out again and climbing back in. And you can see that it's really him. This is, as you know, he does his own stunts. Do you know the story about him talking to Matt Damon about doing stunts?
Matt Damon. No.
Matt Damon was in the Bourne movies, and he said, I want to do this one stunt, but the stunt coordinator said it was too dangerous. And Tom Cruise said, when my stunt coordinator says it's too dangerous, I get a new stunt coordinator.
What's wrong with that dude? I mean,
I don't know. But if you have never seen a Mission Impossible movie, don't worry. They will recap a lot of what happens. And my favorite character in this new movie is one who appeared only briefly in the very first movie, and he's wonderful in this. So we'll talk more about it next week. Everybody, remember, no talking about this until we talk about it next week. Okay. On streaming, we got
to go with Movie Dad to go see this because you're getting a little too happy that Tom Cruise is running around in his underwear, saving the world.
Yeah, he still doesn't look as good as my husband in his underwear. Okay. So on streaming, we have The Brutalist, which you heard a lot about at Oscar time. The number one box office movie of the year so far. Do you know what that is? It's now on streaming. Minecraft movie.
Oh, of course. Yeah, of course.
Sneaks, an animated film about sneakers, which apparently I'm the only person who loved it. But trust me on this. It's great. Take a look at it on streaming. And then if you're in the mood for a thriller this week, a really good one, Sharp Corner with Kobe Smulders from How I Met Your Mother and Ben Foster, who's absolutely great, about people who move into a new house. And there's a sharp corner there, and a lot of accidents start happening.
Hugging a kiss to you and Movie Dad.
Oh, yeah.
And I triple dog dare you. Tell him to walk behind you in his undies next time. Have a wonderful weekend. Movie Mom Nell Minow every Friday on the Valley's Morning News. My buddy Dale Johnson, his reputation is stellar. So many years that he's been, fixing roofing, commercial roofing systems, and homes as well, but mostly commercial roofing systems, fixing them, providing new systems, doing retrofit to all those systems. That dear friend of mine, he is a dear friend. I don't use that term flippantly. I love this dude, brother in Christ. This guy, his reputation is stellar because he delivers. And man, somehow the Lord said, okay, these two their paths will cross, and I'm grateful for it because with his stellar reputation and him delivering on everything that he does, what helps my reputation. Hey, Serge, Serge was talking about him. Yeah, this dude's awesome. Yeah, he is. Absolutely he is. My friend Dale and his entire team, they've brought down to South Texas Chamberlain Roofing and Waterproofing, joined forces with Chamberlain Roofing and Waterproofing, and these good folks. And that's the reason he locked arms with them. He has fused with them. They joined forces with Chamberlain Roofing and Waterproofing because of the culture that Chamberlain brings to South Texas, identical to Dale, commitment to superior customer service, making sure that you as a property owner, property manager, that you're super happy with the new systems and this cutting edge technology they provide for new roofing systems, the advanced waterproofing solutions, and all the expanded services, the new menu of expanded services and valued warranties. Trust Chamberlain Roofing and Waterproofing with a new project, the fix for your commercial roofs and even your home. Chamberlain Roofing, Waterproofing at 956-566-6822, chamberlainltd.com.
If you're looking to improve your overall health and have a better quality of life, Dr. T's Primary Care is the place to go. If you feel tired or stressed or less motivated, if you're moody or if you have trouble sleeping, Dr. T's Primary Care will evaluate you and work with you to address your health concerns, including testosterone or menopause treatment, peptide treatment, IV vitamin infusions. Their licensed staff will take the time to listen to you and work with you to improve your overall health. Check out the website, drtsprimarycare.com. Give them a call in McAllen at 956-803-0058 in Harlingen, 956-368-5247.
For news and talk that's close to home, 710 KURV and KURV.com.
Listen to Sergio Sanchez every morning on News Talk 710 KURV and on the Radio Parami app. Stay informed with exclusive interviews from top local and state leaders, plus economic development news, business, and medical reports, and all the local news from the RGV. It's everything you need to know to start your day right. Sergio Sanchez and News Talk 710 KURV on the free